Welcome dear learners. Today we're going to go through with the session of room service, that is IRD, in-room dining. Before we begin with the session, let's see the objectives of the session. The objectives are as follows. First, to understand what is room service. Next, to state the advantages and disadvantages of room service. Followed with to list different types of room service. Let's begin with the first objective of today's session, which is what is exactly a room service? Room service, it's a part of a hotel operation where a guest is served in the room itself. The service of any food which is done in the room is called as a room service or in-room dining. This is done through calling the room service department. The guest makes a call to the room service department for ordering any food that he desires, and that food is delivered to his room by a room service steward. Room service menus are often charged higher. As the food is served in the room, the menu that is served is charged a little bit more higher than the regular of the dining restaurants. Room service is mostly available for 24 hours in the hotels. As some of the restaurants are not operational for 24 hours, hence the food that will be served in the room service is available for 24/7. The duties of the room service department includes checking of the minibars upon checkouts, collecting breakfast menus every morning, sending food and beverage and any room amenities to the guest. The in-room dining or the room service department is just not responsible for service of food when it is ordered, but also placing any room service amenities in terms of food or in terms of beverages. Sometimes there are VIP arrivals in the hotels. These VIP arrivals have some personalized amenities kept in the rooms before they check in. These amenities are kept either by the housekeeping departments if there are any sort of gifts, or if it is any sort of food or beverage, it is kept by the room service department or the IRD department. Also, the room service previously was responsible for checking the minibar that is situated in the guest room once the guest checks out for any sort of consumption, and that consumption is charged to the guest during the checkout. But nowadays, these minibars are checked by the housekeeping departments. Why do you think room service is necessary, or why do people prefer room service? There are certain reasons, or there are certain situations where the guest prefers room service, in which the most important is the privacy. Privacy is one of the important aspects of room service, as the guest dines in his or her room without any interruption or any guests around him or her. The privacy is maintained at the max in this type of service. Next is convenience. Convenience, as the guest eats the food in his room. As the guest eats the food in his room, it becomes more convenient for him to eat. Next, it can be ordered at any odd time. That is, not necessary during the lunch time, not necessary during the dinner time. The guest can order food in between any time period. Next, it's not much of time saver, as the guest can order the food as early as possible, and while waiting, he may do his or her own work. These are few reasons why room service is mostly preferred. There are many more other reasons for preference of room service. After this, let's see what are the different advantages and disadvantages of room service. Let's begin with the positive part. That's the advantages of room service. The first and the foremost, like what we discussed, privacy is one of the most important advantage, especially with the guests who are like celebrities. Those don't prefer to go in public where there is a lot of crowd. Hence, making sure that the privacy is maintained to the max. Next advantage is dining in casual clothing. The guest might feel it not necessary to wear a formal clothing while he's dining in his room. He can wear any casual clothing while dining. Next, the guest might find it more safer to have his food in the room. Followed with flexible timing while ordering the food. The guest might order the food at any point of time when he requires, whenever the guest is hungry. Also, this reduces a lot of food wastage. Hence, it is one of the better factor to have a room service in your hotel, as there might be reduced food wastage as well. Next is one of the most important aspect of ordering the food in the room, as most of the time it happens that a guest having a baby or an infant would like to have his food in his room. It becomes more convenient for them to eat. Also, there are certain guests who prefer tea early in the morning. There you go. There's a chef right next to your bed in your room service. After the advantages, let's discuss some disadvantages of room service. There are certain disadvantages which starts with food being more expensive. The food is more expensive while ordering from the room service as compared to those of the restaurant. Next, to ensure the food goes hot is one of the biggest challenge or a disadvantage to the hotel, as a hot food should be served hot. Also, in room service, there is a very limited amount of menu preparations available, as certain menu preparations would be way too risky or way too problematic while preparing. Some of the time it might happen that there is a delay in food service, which may cause a guest to complain. So these are the disadvantages of room service. Let's discuss the next objective, which says the type of room service. There are major three types of room service. First is centralized room service. Second is decentralized. And third is mobile room service. Let's go through with these three types of room service in detail. The first room service is the centralized room service. According to name, the centralized room service is a room service which is centrally located. Centrally located, where the food orders are processed from one single kitchen, which is the main kitchen. And those orders are sent to the room by a common team of waiters. Whereas the decentralized is a service in which there is a pantry situated on every floor or set of floors. So the food service is done through that particular pantry. Sometimes the orders are taken at a central point by the order takers, who in turn conveys the order to the respective pantry. Next room service is a mobile room service. It is similar as the name. Mobile room service is a room service which is movable room service. In this room service, there is one elevator which is personally dedicated to the room service department. This elevator works as a pantry for the room service department. Guests call in these mobile pantries and place their orders. And once the order is received, the pantry moves to that particular level and the order is served by the room service stewards. This takes very less time, as the pantry keeps moving from one floor to the other floor. This type of service is also seen most of the time in resort types of property, where there is a mobile cart maintained by that particular resort as a room service pantry, which is movable. These carts keep moving around the resort, and from wherever the order is received, it does the service at the earliest. So these are the three different types of room service, which includes centralized, decentralized, and mobile. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe the channel. Also attempt a small quiz related to the topic through the link provided in the description of YouTube video. References for data credits and for the photo credits. Thank you so much.